Adam Lerner, BrooklynPhotoworks.com, and today I'm here to put an end to the mirrorless medium format debate that I started a while ago. If you guys might remember, I did a comparison on the Fuji GFX 50S and the Hasselblad X1DII, and there was a little bit of a surprise ending. Some of you guys didn't quite get it. Some of you guys did get it, but overall, my feeling was that the GFX 50S was the winner. And guess what, guys? The GFX 50S and the GFX 50R are the clear winner over the Hasselblad X1DII and Hasselblad X1DII. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. GFX is the winner. So if you guys just wanted to know who the winner was, that's it. But if you want to know why, you can keep watching, and I'm going to tell you why. This video is brought to you by Squarespace, and you guys know how much I love Squarespace. In fact, I use Squarespace for my own website. If you want to save 10% on your website, use the code ADAM, A-D-A-M, at checkout, and you will get 10% off of your domain and your website. In fact, if you just want to try it out for 14 days, it's completely free, but then if you love it as much as I do, use the code ADAM, A-D-A-M, at checkout, and you will save 10%. Okay, so there's a bunch of reasons why. First of all, if you want to compare the two, the experience shooting with the Hasselblad and the experience shooting with the Fuji are completely different, okay? Fuji, if you come from the world of Fuji, this is going to be like an old friend. It's going to feel completely familiar. All of the button layout, the menu system, everything kind of functions and works just like any Fuji camera that you've been using. So if you're an X Pro user or an XT user, you're going to get into one of these cameras and it's going to be completely familiar. The controls, the menu system, the dials, the whole deal, the way that you manage and handle the camera is going to be the same. Now, a huge leap, okay, over with the Fuji versus the Hasselblad is in professional workflow. The Fuji natively will tether with Capture One, okay? That is massive, okay? One of the gripes that I had with this, you know, using a medium format camera when the 50S first came out, is that there was no tethering support for Capture One. Yeah, you could tether to Lightroom, but Lightroom is not really a fantastic option for tethering, okay? It is capable of tethering, but you're not going to get all of the camera controls. You're not going to get the workflow. Anytime I go onto a professional job, I'm always tethering my cameras, whether it be the Sony, whether it be the Fuji, whatever I'm using, I'm tethering the camera, and I need a camera that's going to natively work with Capture One. All of my digital technicians are versed in Capture One. Everywhere I go, we're using Capture One. And without the ability to tether to Capture One, that's a huge, huge deal. The Hasselblad has its own native proprietary software called Focus. We've talked about this, the P-H-O-C-U-S. It is a free software that only works with Hasselblad cameras, okay? Now granted, let me just say this for a minute. Hasselblad files are absolutely beautiful. The lenses are beautiful. The color profiles are amazing. They're fantastic cameras. The handling of the X1D, X1D2 are fantastic, okay? So there's nothing wrong with that camera, but from a professional standpoint, not being able to tether natively to Capture and having to use this other software, this Focus software, it just doesn't play, okay? My digital technicians, myself, we're not versed in Focus. It doesn't play nice with anything. It's not ubiquitous. It's not an industry standard. So from a professional standpoint, that alone is kind of a deal breaker, because to be honest, like the Fuji and the Hasselblad, they share the same sensor. Yes, the color technology or the color science that they use between the two is a little bit different, but ultimately you're going to get the same resolution, the same pixel size, etc. from each camera. I love that Fuji is such a progressive company. There's so much going on with them. They're constantly putting out firmware updates. There's all kinds of new lenses that are coming to market. You know, the X Pro 1, X Pro 2, X Pro 3, we've got the GFX 50S, 50R, now the GFX 100. This company is constantly moving forward at a very, very fast rate. There's a lot of support for your Fuji items, whereas with the Hasselblad, you know, it's a European company, it's premium, it comes with a much higher price tag, the lenses are really expensive, and support is, you know, gonna probably be a little bit more of a big deal if you need to get something fixed or whatever. So From a professional standpoint alone, okay, the fact that I'm gonna have, be able to deal with Fuji in North America, that they're a progressive company, that they're constantly, producing updates, that there's so much more lens availability, that it tethers natively with Capture One, it just makes it the clear winner. Then on a personal note, I can say that handling, okay? I went down to the camera store the other day, or my local camera store, I went down to PhotoCare in New York City, and I pulled out all of the medium format mirrorless cameras that were there. So I had the Hasselblad X1DII, because I've already shot the one, and I just want to see the two. The GFX 50R, the GFX 50S, and the GFX 100. Well, I can tell you that the GFX 100 clearly is the leader of the pack. That thing was unfreaking unbelievable. It was amazing, okay? It does IAF, probably close to as well as a Sony, A7R III. I mean, it was amazing. I was just literally, moving the camera, the subject was moving around, and it just locked on the eye. The focus was so insanely fast. The buffer is so incredibly fast. Even though you're shooting these massive 100 megapixel files, you literally could just go click, 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 click. I mean, it just handled like a DSLR, with the bigger grip, and the focusing system. It was incredible. Unfortunately, I don't have $10,000 just laying around to buy that camera. Not to say that these are inexpensive, but let's think about it, guys. For the same price as a Sony A7R IV, which is a 61 megapixel full frame DSLR, you can buy a GFX 50R used, okay? You can get them in like new condition. I mean, just look on B&H or Adorama, they're right there for the same price. Granted, they're completely different cameras, okay? The A7R IV, it's a powerhouse, it's a speed demon. The focusing is probably some of the best focusing of any camera on the planet. Maybe the A9 II, better focusing, whatever. They're negligibly different, but they're both incredible. Whereas this is going to be a lot slower. The whole workflow is slower, but that's the whole thing with medium format. GFX 100, workflow's a lot faster. I'm telling you guys, I'm like really mad for that camera. And who knows, maybe I'll try to make it happen. We don't know yet. But in the interim, the GFX 50R and the 50S are both incredible cameras. And like I said, if you're familiar with the Fuji realm, you're gonna be very comfortable using either of these cameras. So if I haven't said it already, even though I have, I'll say it again. The GFX 50R, 50S, those are the clear winner to the Hasselblad X1DII. User experience, Hasselblad X1DII, the body is small, but it's big. It's weird. It's like it's got a bigger screen, the X1DII too, but it's got no joystick, it's got no D-pad, so that you basically do everything with its massive rear LCD. I'm not so much of an LCD guy. I have to wear reading glasses if I need to look at things up close. So for me to have to constantly put my glasses on and off to do stuff, I'm not a fan of that. I also like the feeling of having the little joystick on the back here to move the focus points around. With the X1DII, you have to use your thumb, and you have to use it on the back of the LCD screen. It's not the end of the world, it's just a little bit awkward. I've got big hands, so I can hold the camera with my right hand, I can have my finger on the trigger, and I can also move the focus point around. But I was there shopping with cameras with a buddy of mine, and he's got much smaller hands, and he couldn't reach the LCD screen properly to move the focus point around. So he had to assign the other side of the screen and basically use that camera two-handed, which doesn't really make sense. It's just kind of a weird workflow issue. So, at the end of the day, the handling of the Fuji cameras is just better. I mean, I don't know, there just seems to be more thought. The articulating screen, we didn't even go there yet, but yes, both the GFX 50R has an articulating screen, up and down. GFX 50S goes up and down and to the side, so you can literally shoot in any kind of fashion. So I don't know, guys, I'm gonna leave it like right there. So again, the clear winner is the Fuji. It always was the Fuji, if you had any doubts. I've said it again and again. I've always been a Fuji fan. I'm even more of a Fuji fan. I think that Fuji is doing a fantastic job. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we'll see you soon.